They're trying to get you banned for violent threats again? What violent threat did I make this time? Both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal.
No, it's not. If somebody attacks Hila Klein, they're gonna go to jail.
I've never said that, and I don't believe that, and they're lying. It's not me that is threatening anybody. It's, take it up with the United Nations.
All right. I think it's pretty clear at this point. Hasan is dangerously irresponsible, at the bare minimum. You've probably heard Hasan's statements implying Hila Klein is a valid military target. And while the statements aren't as direct as people were initially implying they were, that doesn't mean Hasan isn't being dangerously irresponsible by even mentioning Hila Klein's name in the same sentence while talking about this. Let's break down what Hasan actually said, and why it's not exactly what people were initially claiming, but is still disgustingly irresponsible and even dangerous, especially when you consider this guy's history of past statements.
They're trying to get you banned for violent threats again? What violent threat did I make this time? Ugh. What happened now? Okay, don't say what is it? God, man. Okay, calm down. I want to know what it is. They're saying you called H a valid military target. If someone of the Israeli occupying force is participating in a raid in the West Bank, in the process of participating in that raid, just in the process of participating in that raid, yeah, they are a valid military target. It's not me that is threatening anybody. It's, take it up with the United Nations. They're saying you currently think she's a valid target? No, of course not. That's idiotic. I've never said that, and I don't believe that, and they're lying. It's the way it's clipped? No. No, that's bullshit.
See, this guy says this is all bullshit. And while it might not be initially what people were claiming, the fact that he's upset that people are taking this from his statements, it's like, dude, can you really be surprised what people are drawing outrage from in regarding to this when your history includes statements like, America deserved 9/11 because we brought it upon ourselves?
America deserved 9/11, dude. F it. I'm saying it.
Said Rick Scott should be assassinated if people cared about Medicare fraud because of his history of Medicare fraud.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
And even said the CEO killer should be set free, and wouldn't stop gushing about how attractive he was.
New video overnight, the shooter seen here about 20 minutes before the shooting.
Don't get mad at me. I don't want to be like inappropriate here, but he looks kind of fucking hot, dude. I don't even know what a face is. I have face blindness, officer. He's so sick.
Like, when you're known for saying these kind of things, then you mention Hila Klein's name in the same sentence as your ramble about people being in the West Bank being valid military targets. It shouldn't really take a rocket scientist to figure out why people are so upset with you. Because you have this history of saying these insanely extreme things, then being like, well, what I actually meant was this, guys. All right, let's take a look at the initial statements that got him into this situation in the first place.
And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids, the violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth.
While this might not be an explicit call for violence against Hila like some people were initially claiming. The fact that he is even mentioning Hila Klein's name in the same sentence where he's saying committing violence against Israelis in the West Bank being justified is just so insanely irresponsible that I'm not sure why he's acting so confused why people would be upset with him. He knows exactly what he was doing by saying that. This isn't a slip up. Mentioning her name in the same sentence was entirely intentional. And not to mention, dangerously irresponsible.
Oh, this. So if I started saying shit like Hasan is Hamas propagandist and therefore a legit military target, which, by the way, he does say that. What? He says that every day, which I do not believe. Everyone is going to be okay with that. This is the fourth time a leftist Twitch streamer has explicitly called for me or Hila's death. Nobody has been reprehended for these death threats by Twitch, not once. I've never called for a death threat against Ethan Klein or Hila Klein. That is insane. That's bull. And he knows that that's bull. He's just actively trying to victimize himself. This is 49 seconds. Oh, this is from 12 hours ago. No repercussions. PFLP or even former Fatah militants. Okay? It is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral. Okay? 100%. This is not like this is not a gray area. This is black and white. Okay? It doesn't get more black and white than this. Israel is in the wrong. Israel is actually engaging in an apartheid, which is a crime in and of itself. Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza and an apartheid in the West Bank. 2 crimes in and of itself. And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in the Israelis. Doesn't matter if wait. The clip also features like, I'm so confused. The clip also factors the context. Bro had to make absolutely sure he knew he was talking about Hila here. For real, I thought the title was saying she was including the people. Twitch is probably going to donate subs to him for that one. Bet he won't get banned for this. Yeah, this is me talking about, in the process, in the West Bank, an illegal raid that the Israeli occupying force is conducting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that he's acting so confused why people are upset with him. Like, it's pretty obvious, dude. You didn't have to mention her name in that statement. You did it because you knew it would cause a reaction from people. Well, dude, you got the reaction you were looking for. Hasan's PR team must just hate him, because every time he has multiple articles released about him trying to clean up his image, he almost immediately goes out and says some stupid shit right away, ruining any positive PR impact that he was getting. Well, it looks like we could guarantee another 3 puff pieces on him at the minimum. And while Hasan is trying to sidestep this controversy, acting like he was just talking about international law, I think all these dog whistles start to look pretty suspicious when you consider where Hasan came from and what they are known for. And it looks like Destiny is thinking the same thing.
One thing that's not talked about enough, and if we're going to bring race into this all the time, then I think maybe we need to take a good look at this. Hasan is from Turkey. Turkey is an ethno-state. Turkey was explicitly created in an ethno-state. The fall of the Ottoman Empire after 1917, when they began to genocide all of the Armenians and when they ethnically cleansed all the Greeks away, they did that with the explicit goal of creating their new ethno-state after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, because they wanted their own country with their own ethnic group. And today they continue to engage in that sort of genocidal ethnic cleansing in intent against the Kurdish people in the southeast of the country. So I think the fact that you have a guy that comes from Turkey, which is a genocidal colonial state, they are currently engaged in that type of action. In the island of Cyprus to the south of Turkey, they're currently engaged in genocidal actions against the Kurds. Remember how they said, oh, when we abandoned the Kurds under Trump, we didn't abandon the Kurds to Assad. We didn't abandon the Kurds to ISIS. We abandoned the Kurds to Turkey to kill, okay? And then it was like a million or more Greek citizens where ethnic cleanse were moved from Turkey because they don't want to deal with any of them. So I don't know, a guy that's coming from Turkey, whose uncle founded a network called the Young Turks, which was the name of the group that was largely responsible for the Armenian genocide, is really fucking weird to me. I don't know what kind of ethnic ground he can stand on to attack all Israelis or all Jewish people, mentioning the Hila Klein, who is an American citizen living in the United States of America, and then not have to address or reconcile with the genocidal history of his bloodline and his the country that his parents come from, which when I believe his dad is like a founding member of some far right political party. I think I don't know as much about that shit, but like that's crazy to me. And maybe it does need to be addressed more. That if we're going to bring up like the ethno bend or the ethno religious or the ethno-nationalist tendencies of Israel, maybe more attention needs to be paid from where people like Hasan come from and what his ideology is. Because I've never heard him say shit about what Turkey has done in the past or what Turkey is currently doing right now. So I don't know. Maybe that's worth paying attention to, but Jesus Christ, these statements are fucking unhinged.
Jeez, that's a really good way of putting it. Honestly, when you look at this situation through the lens of that, it looks even worse. People should probably keep this in mind more often when Hasan is making these insane statements. Because it sounds a whole lot worse when you consider the guy randomly bringing up Hila's name in this statement about violence being justified against Israelis in the West Bank just so happens to be the guy from Turkey whose uncle created a company called the Young Turks, who are famously genocidal. So when you take that into account and the fact that this guy is famous for quotes like, "America deserved 9/11, it really shouldn't be too hard to see the dog whistle Hasan made when mentioning Hila's name in this statement. Now, let's take a look at what blew up this situation in the first place. It was when Asmongold reacted to this clip he saw on Twitter and got an incorrect initial impression of it, because people were spreading it around saying Hasan was making a direct call for violence against Hila. And while that might be technically incorrect, it doesn't mean people should be any less outraged that Hasan mentioned her in the same sentence.
And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth. And
no, it's not. If somebody attacks Hila Klein, they're going to go to jail. Why is he telling people this? Why would he be set? What is wrong with you? I mean, like, he's making a direct call for violence, a direct and immediate call for violence against people that are American citizens. And so, yeah, make a post like with Alpha Mike. Let's share it. Yeah, I think that's something Ethan should report to the FBI. Honestly, yeah. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, I think that, like, I mean, at this point, like, you have, like, it's domestic terror. Yeah, I mean, report what? Report that you have a person that's on a platform that's making an open call for violence and insinuating that one specific person should be a victim to that. Do you really think so? Let me go ahead and let's actually evaluate what he said and think if it's a threat or not. If he said that about Donald Trump, would the Secret Service be at his house? And he definitely said if you're in the West Bank, which is Palestinian territory, no. Well, no, because he said former.
PFLP, or even former Fatah militants, okay? It is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral, okay? 100%. This is not like this is not a gray area.
Yeah.
This is black and white, okay? It doesn't get more black and white than this.
And he's also, he said former, number one. He did. Number two, not only did he say former, but he stated her by name, and she was formerly in the military. There's no talking around this, right? I mean, this is crazy. like this has been a problem. I think that this problem has been escalating over time. And I think that especially ever since October 7th, I think that Hasan has basically gotten more and more and more extreme. And is he facilitating terrorism in his chat? Is he promoting terror? Well, it's undeniable that he promotes terrorism. This is an undeniable objective fact. He puts it out there and he says that he's 10 toes down and he supports it. I mean, like, this is not, Hasan isn't a terrorist, but he promotes terror. And so why is this even happening? And so anyway, let's go back. We're going to find this. This is what Hasan does to you. You're finding a fault on technicality, but you know Hasan doesn't mean that. Well, I would give you that, and I would say that if Hasan didn't mention Hila, then I don't think that anybody would be saying this at all. Nobody would be saying this, but the problem is that he did. Like, like, I wouldn't care about this. Like, oh yeah, him saying like, oh, you can fight back against people that are invading your country. Nobody has a problem with that. But for him to say that you should do this to somebody that is, you know, an armed military resistance to a person who's not even there anymore, that's totally different.
See, while he might have gotten the initial impression wrong, that's not exactly his fault because that's what was stated in the clip on Twitter. And with that statement and the clip together, that's honestly the impression it gives off. But Asmongold is 100% correct in saying that people wouldn't be upset if he didn't mention Hila's name. Like, there was just literally no reason for him to mention her. She hasn't been a member of the IDF in a long time and is an American citizen. This is just dangerously irresponsible at the bare minimum. People are rightfully upset at him for this. He could act like it's just being all blown out of proportion, but it's not. It's crazy how this guy just constantly tests the waters at Twitch to see how far he can go. And every time he gets away with it, he goes just a little bit further. It's really only a matter of time till we see something seriously bad happen because of this guy's crazy dog whistling. Anyway, guys, I said my bit. Hope you guys liked the video. And if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to see more content like this, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right here.